Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Rick and I'm your captain on this channel as well as your chef. Now, if you didn't know, we went out on Saturday for a fishing adventure in the San Francisco Bay. We've been fishing a lot in the California Delta, chasing spring run stripers, but all of that energy is pent up for the season, and we were itching to get out in the San Francisco Bay, and we said, let's go get some halibut. And boy, were we not prepared at all for the battle that ensued. These halibut are aggressive this year. They're heavy, they're big, they're smart, and they outwitted us. We lost 5 fish. We were only able to bring home 1, and that was all by luck. And that video is posted right here. Go check it out. You're gonna absolutely love that one. But with the fish that we were able to manage to bring in, and it's going to be a delicious red Thai curry halibut. You can't miss this one, I promise. It's so easy, it's delicious, and you just gotta do it, okay? Stick with me. I can't wait to share this one. So let's break down some of the ingredients that you'll need for this dish. And I always say it's easy as long as you can find these ingredients. You'll need purple eggplant, green onions, lemongrass, cilantro, ginger, onion, fish sauce, oyster sauce. I use this red curry paste. It's a Maesri brand. It's a little bit spicy, but it goes very well with just about anything that you need for a curry dish. You need the coconut milk. You'll have to find a brother with a Kaffer tree in his backyard, and fortunately for me, I have one, and his tree gets bigger and bigger, and every single spring I get unlimited supply of this beautiful Kaffer lime leaves and rosemary, so I'm very, very fortunate. Thank you, bro. MSG, flour, sugar, and you're always gonna have to find a way to get that fish, and fortunately for Captain Rick, I almost did not have this fish, but I do always find the fish.
I don't even like the way that sounds.
Oh, with the little sweat thing.
It's not a regular conversation.
So all of you halibut lovers out there, you know that halibut is a very prized fish for all of the qualities of its tenderness, its sweetness, its flakiness. You always find it at a 4 to 5 star restaurant, and they always treat it well, and we're gonna do the exact same thing. I do catch a lot of halibut in the San Francisco Bay. I get to play around with various recipes to try a few things, and I promise you, you wanna take this halibut, we'll treat it well, we'll batter it up, deep fry it for 2 to 3 minutes, and we'll lock in and sear all of that moisture, or lock in all of that moisture before we dip it into the red curry. That way we don't ruin the fish, and again, we're gonna treat this well. We worked hard for it. Let's make sure we don't ruin it and dry it out.
So we'll take this lemongrass and we're literally just gonna crush it just like this. It's about a 4-inch chunk. If you take 2 pieces, just crush it with the back of the knife. Take the ginger, we'll just slice it up. Nice long strips or pieces, just like this. And here's the Kaffer lime leaves that I got from my brothers. You can go get this as an Asian store, but his tree always has really beautiful, large leaves, which I always cannot find, or I should say never can find. But if you break it open and you just give it a sniff, it's got this nice, beautiful, lemony aroma that you just cannot get from any other lime leaf. And I promise you, this is what you're gonna need for the curry. And this is pretty traditional to put this Kaffer lime leaves in a curry. Oh, I did forget to mention, as I always do, you know, being a home chef, I can't remember everything on the top of my head, but as I'm chopping the garlic, we're gonna need some of this shrimp paste. This particular brand, you can get at almost any Asian store. And we're just gonna open this up and we'll grab maybe a teaspoon, and we'll just grab about that much, and we'll just set it aside. And we're gonna add that into the curry, and it gives it that extra special flavor that you're not gonna get if you don't use this. So we're gonna use some of that. So we got fish sauce, plus the shrimp paste. It's gonna make that curry super delicious. And remember, we're making a halibut curry, so we gotta treat it well because we work so hard for it. So stay tuned, get this one. All right, well, let's get cooking. I've added 2 tablespoons of oil into the pot here.
I'm gonna add the toughest ingredient, which is the lemongrass. We'll let that sizzle away for 10 to 20 seconds, just to extract some of that flavor. Give it about a minute. Okay, the next toughest ingredient is we're gonna go for the ginger. After about a minute, you stir that around, fry that up until it's nice and brown. You don't want it burnt. Obviously, you are just trying to extract the flavors out of this, so give it about a minute for the ginger and lemongrass to incorporate. Now I'm going to add about 5 to 6 cloves of garlic. We added the garlic last in this because we don't want it to burn. We definitely want the garlic to come out of it, but we don't want it burnt. So that's why we added it last. So here's where we add the shrimp paste. Okay, definitely don't miss out on that. Then we'll add the rest, or the curry, and we'll stir fry that around. Oop, shoot. Okay, we're just going to stir fry that for a little bit. We'll cook it out. All right, it's been about a minute, and so I'm going to add the oyster sauce. So let's say this is about, let's go 2 tablespoons. Again, all of my recipes are all from the head and from the heart, but I'm trying my best to keep track of it for everyone. Okay, we'll find some sugar, probably like a teaspoon. Okay, don't miss out on the MSG. We're gonna go about a teaspoon. And then we're gonna use this squid brand sauce, or fish sauce. You can use any fish sauce that you want, but again, if you're following my recipe, you get the same flavors that I'm getting, then use this. I only have a little bit left. This looks like about 2 tablespoons, so let's add 2 tablespoons. Actually, it looks more like 3 tablespoons. Let's go. After about a minute, then you're going to throw in the kaffir lime leaves. These are the beautiful leaves that I got from my brother's backyard. I love it. It's so fresh. I picked it myself. I got to choose each individual leaf, so I know this recipe is going to come out delicious. I love hand-picking all of my vegetables. If you guys don't know, I just love it. When I go to the grocery store, I am very picky. I'm not going to grab anything. I'm going to select only the greenest, the freshest, and you usually get that right around this time of the year. All right, it's been about a minute to let that kaffir lime leaf incorporate, and I'm going to add the coconut milk at this time. And that's it. We just let that simmer away, and we're going to work on the halibut. Let's go ahead and stir this up. I got to clean up that mess, guys. I'm sorry. Girls, guys. I got to clean up that mess. Folks, please excuse the mess. Anything and everything that can happen, just like on our fishing trip, will happen in the kitchen unless you're careful. And there you have it. So we'll let that simmer away while I do some cleanup. I'll be right back. So as a home chef, I always improvise, and I gave it a good old taste test. And I think I'm going to add some chicken powder, and we'll add a little bit of water as well. So let's say teaspoon chicken powder. And then we'll add maybe a half a cup of water, just like that, to thin it out just a bit. And we'll let that incorporate. It was a little bit too thick for what I wanted, so I did that. So So yeah, that looks a lot better, especially when we start adding all of the vegetables and then the battered fish. It's gonna thicken it up even more, and that's exactly what we want. We want to coat that fish beautifully. We don't want a loose curry. I don't like loose curry. That's me personally. I like thick curry. All right, we'll let that go for a minute. So we're letting that bubble away just a little bit, and now we're gonna add our purple eggplant, onions, and we'll throw the green onions in just a little bit before we're ready to throw in the fish. That way it doesn't wilt too much. These are heavier ingredients, so we want to incorporate all of these, let that cook just a bit, and then we're going to go work on the fish, and we'll be right back. Keep this on a very low simmer, okay? Let all of that curry marry into all of those ingredients. And we'll be right back. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna use a plastic bag this time because it coats everything nicer. I'll just take a spoon. There's no amount that's too little or too much. Just don't use the whole bag. Let's start with about, I don't know, maybe a half a cup. Actually, this is a full cup. Yeah, let's do a full cup. That seems about right. And then we'll just take the fish and we'll throw it into the bag, unseasoned, because a lot of the sodium comes from the curry, the fish sauce, and we just want to coat this fish. And remember, we're only going to fry it for 2 to maybe 3 minutes. We'll keep an eye on it at 375 if you can get it that high, roughly 375, or just a typical fry. And just shake this on it. Just coat all of the pieces, and then we'll dump it into the fryer. And remember why we're doing this. For 2 to 3 minutes is because we want to protect the precious halibut, keep it moist. We're going to lock in all of those moistures from the fish, and that's why we're frying it before we throw it into the curry. Remember, halibut can dry out very easily, so you have to use all kinds, various techniques to keep it as moist as possible. All right, we'll leave that, wait for the oil, and we'll throw it into the oil. All right, and one of my favorite parts, we'll just take that halibut, literally just as many pieces, maybe 5 at a time, and just throw it in the hot oil. Do remember, we only want to fry this for a couple minutes, just to get a crust. We're not trying to fully cook the fish because we want that fish to be soaked up by the curry. All right, well, I would say that's about 2 minutes. I'm just going to take the fish out. We'll say that's about what we want right there. We're going to transfer this straight over. I'm going to see if I can do this. Let me just move the camera. Folks, bear with me. And we'll throw it right into the curry, just like that. And that's it. Just spoon it over. Do the best you can, because ultimately we're gonna drizzle that curry onto the fish before we serve it. It's gonna be so good. We'll let this bubble away for just a couple minutes, and then we're just about ready to serve. It's that simple. I told you it was easy. As long as you have these ingredients, it's easy. And then lastly, it's time to throw in the long green onions. And we'll let that incorporate just a little bit. All right, well, let's take care of this fish. And we're gonna baby every single one of these pieces
break it. So I'm being super cautious to get every delicious piece out of there. Some of that eggplant. All right, well that's it, folks. Super duper easy. It's about a 10-minute recipe as long as you have all of the ingredients ready to go. Here is Captain Rick's red curry halibut with purple eggplant. So easy to make, doesn't take very long, and it's super delicious. It is a bit spicy, but I promise you, you're gonna love it. For all the spice lovers, red curry is just one of those things that spice kind of comes with it. There you have it. We're gonna take this, we're gonna go chomp down, and I promise you, you're gonna wanna give this one a shot. I hope that you do. Stick with me for the next recipe. Until then, I will see you on the next one. I'm gonna go eat now. We'll see you in a bit. All right, it's time to go in for a bite. Let's check this out. I'm gonna take a piece of this beautifully fried halibut. Now check out the reason why I do this. If you take a look how flaky that is, and it is soaked up by all of that Maesri curry, all the delicious flavors, plus all of that Kaffer lime flavor. Here we go. Oh yeah. Super simple curry. You'll find a lot of this type of thing at a restaurant, but when you're doing it at home with the fresh caught halibut, it's absolutely fantastic. Plus the Kaffer lime leaves. Shout out to my brother and his tree in the backyard. I promise you, that extra bit of limeliness flavor from that special Kaffer lime leaves adds an extra, promise you. This dish is absolutely one to die for. You have to give it a shot, I promise. I'm gonna go finish eating. Let me go grab one more piece. Before I go, I got 50 seconds maybe. I'll see you on the next one.